Hello there. Sorry for the stream being a little bit late. I thought this was just going to be a quick little download. Turned out it was 10 gigabytes. I have no idea why. I guess all of the art is probably just super high res, but I was not expecting that. Anyways, Pentiment, new game by Obsidian. I don't actually have much experience with Obsidian, but everyone talks up their writing, and it's on Game Pass, so here we go. Ooh. This should be fine, right? Right? I'm glad to give you the option. Should I read this? Oh, this isn't even English. Screw that. Oh! Okay. I thought I was gonna find a secret code or something, but nah. Oh. Couldn't even let me finish the job, huh? Oh no, the journal's becoming blank. My memories are being modified. I don't actually know like anything about what this game is like. Like I watched the trailer again just to get a little bit of an insight, and it seems like it's a murder mystery maybe, but I have no clue. So, before the stream started, I tried to activate text-to-speech, specifically because this is a narrative game, but I don't think it has any voice acting. So I figured that would help make it a bit easier to just go along with, as opposed to having to read out every single bit of dialogue that pops up. But I don't know if it's gonna work, because it seems kind of bugged. You can choose from a list of like 8 different Microsoft voices, but none of them changed anything when I clicked on different ones. I clicked the first one to see what it sounded like, and then I clicked the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and no matter what the name was, I clicked on Microsoft Linda, and it sounded like the default Microsoft Sam voice. So we'll see how it turns out. The artist's mind.
Player says, and the abbot said to me, Andreas.
There we go. Good talking.
Option 1 of 3, I don't want you distracting the sisters in the library. Option 2 of 3, I need you to finish this commission by the end of April. Option 3 of 3, keep your conversations with Brother Piero to a minimum. Option 1 of option
I don't know, how am I gonna play
option
this?
3 of 3, keep
I don't know
your
who Brother Piero
conversations
is.
with Brother Piero to a minimum. Option 1 of 3, I don't want you distracting the sisters in the library. Saint Provine says hee. Up to the devil's work again, are you? Beatrice says don't encourage him. Socrates says devotion to one's work can yield pleasures of the mind superlative to those of the body.
That just like the actual Socrates?
Saint Provine says either you need to spend time with more exciting lovers or I need to learn how to work the Socrates way. Prestijon says how did you reply to the abbot, Andreas? Option 1 of 3, I apologized and said I'd be more mindful.
Gonna go with the God one, I
Option 2 of
guess.
3. Saint Provian says he 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 he. Beatrice says you're insufferable. Socrates says alas, this Christian faith views desire less favorably than I did in my time. Player says oh. Socrates says perhaps this longing for you will instill in them a greater appreciation for beauty. Saint Provian says right. Try telling that to the abbot next time, Andreas. Hee
Hee.
Prester John says despite the abbot's ire, you must endure. Soon you will have finished both the abbot's work as well as your masterpiece. And then you will return to Nuremberg, where marriage and your new life as a master await you.
Wonder why they're underlining certain words.
Beatrice says yes, marriage to someone he has never met. Hardly ideal. Socrates says well, the alternative is becoming a philosopher. Saint Provian says oh, Jesus, then you should definitely get married. Is she pretty, at least?
That was weird how the word Jesus filled in way later than the rest. I don't know what the formatting of this text is meant to do.
Option 1 of 3 that's what my brother said in his letter, but maybe he's just trying to lift my spirits. Option 2 of 3 the small portrait they sent was lovely, but we artists can be flatterers. Option 3 of 3 oh, who knows? That's not why I'm doing it, anyway. Prester John says it is growing late. The wheel of time stops for no man, Andreas. I fear you must leave us. Player says ah, true, your majesty. Prester John says will you visit us again soon? Option 1 of 3 hopefully, but it's out of my control, your Option 2 of 3 I don't know, your majesty. Option 3 of 3 well, I can't always dream of this place, your majesty.
Pudding Master, thanks for following. Always appreciated.
Option 1, Prester John says as are many things. Trust in Providence. Grovian, please see Andrea safely home. Saint Grovian says of course, your majesty. Prester John says until next time, Andreas. Player says until next time, your majesty. Saint Grovian says pay no mind to the other fools, Andreas. Player says I never do.
These sure are creatures.
Ow. At least I would if they'd stop stepping on my feet. Watch where you're going. Saint Grovian says hee. They're fools, Andreas. No point in trying to teach them anything. I know old John wants you to endure the abbot's shit, but since I take you home, I get the last word. Don't let him run you rag, boy. Option 1 of 3 I won't. The abbot can't push me around.
Man, I wish I had a little bit more context. I'm making a lot of choices.
Option 1 of 3 I won't. The abbot can't push me around. Saint Grovian says that's what I like to hear. Player says God. Would you please test me?
There is a... Like, it's weird, because it is basically like a tweening type of animation, but because it's low frame rate, it has a different vibe to it.
I give up. Take me home, Grovian. Saint Grovian says hee. As you wish, Andreas. Player says good morning, Ursula. Ursula says go Endure.
What?
Player says time to get up.
Alright. Now we're starting, I assume.
Quests. Go to bed. Journal.
Another day, another few pages for the abbot, and hopefully a few for myself. I need to get across town and head up to the abbey as I can, so I can start work for the scripture. Okay, maybe this wasn't a good idea. Scriptorium.
Maps.
Alright. Oh, okay, there's a lot of stuff, it seems. I assume each of those parts that's not filled out is a place you can visit.
People.
Yeah, I may have to change the text settings. Artist of Abbey, known for his... Oh, this was a terrible mistake. Push the right stick to zoom in. Thank you for that. Known for his kindness and helpful nature, Brother Piero is also respected as a master painter, specializing in works of extraordinary color. Hell yeah.
Lowery.
Nuremberg. Free imperial city of the Holy Roman Empire. Major trade center and city of the arts, including printing.
People. Maps.
Why has this still got a red asterisk? Oh, because of this? No. Oh, because there's tabs. Okay. Well, now I don't know how much of this is real.
Journal. Ex Libris.
Alright.
Journal.
Nope.
8. Player says the Picatrix, Key of Solomon, the Heptameron. Prior Ferenc keeps giving me all of these books to read. I really should clean this up. Go to bed, Gerdner House. Ursula says Andrew PPPBBT.
I'm glad that Microsoft Sam is doing his best.
Gerdner guest room. Clara. Clara says good morning, Andreas. Did you sleep well? Option 1 of 3, quite well actually. Thank you.
Alright, well. When in doubt, give yourself a good night's sleep. This is good life advice.
Clara says, oh, I'm so glad to hear it. Anyway, I know you'll be off to the Abbey, so I packed you some food. Almonds, cheese, and some of the rye you like from the Albans. Otto wanted me to ask you to join him for dinner at the Abbey. Eva says Otto stopped by. Clara says yes, around dawn. Here you are, Andreas.
So I assume this is at most like an adventure game type thing where you just get items to use to cause solutions. It sells itself on being a narrative, so I'm wondering if it's more of a choice-based thing or more old school than that.
Option 1 of 2, that's too kind of you, Clara. Many thanks. Option 2 of 2, nod.
And play it like Batman.
Option 1 of 2, that Clara says Master Andreas, if it wouldn't be too much trouble, could I mean, could we? Would it be too much trouble if you paid next month's rent today? And if we raised it by 2 groschen? I hate to ask, but we're behind on our taxes to the Abbey. 2 months behind.
Man. Landlords be like. Abbeys be like.
Peter's losing his hair over it. Even more than usual, I mean. Option 1 of 4, of course. It's no problem at all. Besides, we wouldn't want Peter to lose any more of his precious hair.
That bottom one seems like it could lead into more of a conversation.
Option 2 of 4, option 4 of 4, well,
Wait, what's the thought
were
bubble?
these
Hold on.
taxes unexpected? Option 4 of 4, well, wait, were these taxes unexpected? Player says I'm not sure how to respond to this. Rent wasn't due until the beginning of May.
Wait, what?
Option 1 of 3, be generous, Andreas. You can spare the money and it will...
Oh, your moral choices are based on people? Your characters? Be generous, Andreas, you can spare the money. Get the consequence of inaction.
Option 2 of 3, you must take the consequences of inaction into account. Option 3 of...
Who do I want to live by?
Option 1 of 3, be generous, Andreas.
Is this
You
going to
can
be the
spare
kind
the
of game
money
that
and it
punishes
will
you
be
for
your
being nice? And also, like, is it morally correct to appease a landlord? That's the real question here.
Player says on the other hand, she might think she can keep asking me for advances on rent. Option 1 of 4, of course.
Okay, so the thought bubble
It's
is
no
letting you
problem at
consider
all.
it, and then you get a little bit of extra
Besides,
stuff. Nice.
We wouldn't want Peter to lose any more of his precious hair. Option 4 of 4. Clarence says Peter says our taxes didn't go up for years, but ever since we've been married, it's just gone up and up.
Huh, wait, so is the tech stuff, like, is it having, like, small errors that are then fixed? Is that what the animation's going for? I'd say I need to pay more attention, but it's hard to assess where it's actually going to pop up. But, like, the married bit looked a bit weird and then it disappeared and came back.
It used to be that if we didn't have the money, we could make payment in kind with some of our crops. The abbot stopped that last year. Now if we don't get a good price from the miller, it's hard to give the abbey its share. I know it's not your problem, Andreas, and Peter is too proud to ask you himself. Can you find it in your heart to help us out? Option 1 of 2, of course. It's no problem at all. Besides, we wouldn't want Peter to lose any more of his precious hair.
Alright, so these are both the same thing, just one's less committal. I guess I'm a superstar artist in this context and can just afford this kind of thing.
Clarence says, oh, God bless you, Andreas. And may Saint Luke watch over you today. Speaking of Saint Luke, how is your
Alright, I better get a literal blessing from St.
It's
Luke.
been 2 months now, hasn't it? Player says slowly, I'm afraid. Most of my days are spent doing work for the abbey. It's only during the divine office that Prior Ferenc allows me to work on my masterpiece. A reasonable restriction, but slow going. The city council doesn't require it to become a master. I'm making it mostly to show clients, and for my own sake. And yes, when I do finish, I will go back to Nuremberg, where I will marry and open a workshop of my own. Clara says from Nuremberg to a university and now traveling the world as an artist.
I think that's a neat flavor, honestly, the idea of it being actually, like, scribed. I assume this kind of stuff doesn't really crop up if you use the other font choice.
What a life you have ahead of you, Master Andreas. Player says yes, I suppose it does feel like I'm starting a new chapter in my life after. Option 1 of 3, a few missteps.
What history am I making?
Option,
Not
Clara
too much
says
fun.
it must be rather frightening, starting all over again. Option 1 of 2, I owe it to my family to make something of my life. Option 2 of 2 it is, but I know now that this is what I want to do. Player says not many
This will be
people
remembered.
get to decide that.
Of all the things I've said so far to be remembered, okay.
Clarence says certainly not anyone in Tassing. Anyway, I don't know anything about art, but I've seen you sketching such beautiful things in your little book. Your masterpiece must be wonderful. Option 1 of 3 it is. It's my finest work.
It's hard to say until it's done.
Clarence says that's no way to think about it. I'm sure it will be a treasure when it's finished. Now, I have to get back to my own work. Have a good day at the Abbey, Andreas, and we'll see you after Vespers for supper. Player says not tonight, but thank you.
Like, actually, why did
Drucker
committing
invited me
to
over for
paying
supper.
extra rent not get remembered, but that did?
Clarence says of course. Please say hello to the Druckers for us. Player says of course. Until later, Clara. Clara.
Clara.
Gertner Farm. Clara, Eva. Eva says hello, Andreas.
She sure does.
Clara.
Oh, we're
Player
back
says
in.
Hello, Clara. Can you spare a moment to chat? Clarence says of course, Andreas. How can I help? Option 1 of 2 I was wondering if I could help with your tax troubles. Clarence says oh, well, a glossary.
Wait, she got cut off by the glossary. A gulden. Gold coins used as currency throughout the Holy Roman Empire. Though different standards exist for the gulden in different regions, it is generally equivalent to the Florentine florin. Luckily, I played Assassin's Creed and know what a florin is.
Clarence says if you can't pay your rent early, that's alright. I'm sure we can find some way to pay the abbot. Option 1 of 2 I'm happy to contribute whatever I can. I know times are hard for you right now.
It is weird, this is
Clarence
like
says
a
you have good
non-choice.
heart, Andreas, but I'm afraid I can't accept. Peter's too proud of a man to ask for charity while there's still ground to till. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked you about rent in the first place. You're young, and have your own life ahead. Option 1 of 2 I'm happy to pay early, Clara. You've been good hosts to me, and I can do without more than your family. Clarence says God bless you, Andreas. Don't mention this to Peter, alright? He would hate to know I told you about our troubles. Option 1 of 2 he won't know a thing.
Alright.
Clarence says I should return to work. Player says until later, Clara. Clara.
Alright.
Farm.
I
Ursula.
think all this stuff's also optional. Like, I'm pretty
Ursula.
sure my goal is literally just to go to
Gertner
bed.
guest room. Journal.
If I check. Does it
Maps.
say anywhere?
Journal.
I think it does. But Yeah, it's under objectives, right? Is there not an objectives tab? I thought there was.
Ex Libris. Gertner Farm. Journal.
Maybe let's get out of bed. Oh, this is weird. You're on a stripped 2D plane.
Peter. Peter says Andreas.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
Gertner House.
Can't talk to you. Oh.
Big Yerg says morning, Andreas. Player says morning, Big Yerg.
Did it say
How's it
Big
going?
Gerg?
You working today? Big Yerg says just taking a rest for a bit. Dad's still in the field. He hit a big rock with the plow and it took me Lord knows how long to pull it out.
You know, there's explicitly a delay on, like, Lord and God and words like that.
You off to the Abbey? Option 1 of 2 every day but Sunday. Big Yerg says right. Thank God for Sundays. Smells like a storm's coming, no. Player says huh. Just smells like fresh alpine air to me. Big Yerg says you've been traveling too much. Where was it you spent your Wanderjar before you came to Tassing? Option 1 of 3 Basel. Andreas knows.
Oh, weird.
Option 2 of 3.
Let's see.
Option 1 of 3 Basel. Andreas knows some Italian and French and can reference cultural touchstones from Basel and nearby Bern, Zurich, and Freiburg.
Oh, cool. That's interesting. This is actually like a, this actually is defining my character, I guess.
Option 2 of 3 Flanders. Andreas knows some Dutch and French and can reference cultural touchstones from Antwerp, Bruges, and Ghent.
I mean, I have no idea what any of this will actually accomplish for me, because I don't know what any of these cultural touchstones are.
Option 3
But it's
of 3
neat.
Italy. Andreas knows Italian, a little Greek, and can reference cultural touchstones from Florence, Venice, and Milan. Option 1 of 3
So if I
Basel.
pick either of these, I have to
Option
know
2
French.
Option 1.
And that's
Option
kind
2
of
3
unfair to
Flanders.
apply to even a fictional character,
Andreas-
so I'm going to go with
Option
Italy.
3 of 3 Italy. Andreas knows Italian, a little Player says Italy. Florence for a while, but Venice, and Milan as well. Big Yerg says Italy. No wonder your senses are dull. You've been down there too long. Spend enough time in these mountains and you'll be able to smell a storm coming. Player says how long will that take? Big Yerg says 10, 15 years. Player says I don't think I have that long, Big Yerg. Big Yerg says what did you spend all that time in Italy doing, anyway?
Wait, is it saying Yerg? Big Yerg?
Other than art, I mean. Option 1 of 5 Hedonist.
Ooh.
Andreas seeks out pleasure wherever he
All
goes.
kinds of
He
jobs,
is
like
extremely
craftsman,
social and
hedonist,
quite experienced in
rapscallion.
all of the enjoyable vices of the world.
Alright, let me check that again. Hold on.
Option 1 of 5 Hedonist. Andreas seeks out pleasure wherever he goes. He is extremely social and quite experienced in all of the enjoyable vices of the world.
Alright, I do like my social stats.
Option 2 of 5 Craftsman. Andreas lives to work and dedicates all of his time to his art. Option 3 of 5 Bookworm. Andreas spends all of his non-working free time finding and reading as many books as he possibly can. Option 4 of 5 Rapscallion. Andreas has a penchant for getting involved in petty schemes, pranks, minor crimes, and fist fights.
Yeah, that sounds kind of good.
Option 5 of 5 Businessman. Andreas devotes much of his time to self-promotion, optimizing business expenses, making investments, and balancing his books.
I don't know,
Option 1 of
hedonist
5,
is pretty
hedonist.
strong.
Andrea seeks out pleasure wherever he goes. He is extreme. Player says Italian women are beautiful and the wine is exquisite. What do you think I spent my time doing? Big Yerg says sounds like fun, but you better not let Father Thomas hear about it. Player says why not? Priests tell us to emulate the lives of the saints.
Oh, there was flat out a typo there and they had to erase. Okay, that's what they're doing. I finally caught one.
I revere Saint Augustine, who said, Lord, make me chaste, but not yet. Big Yerg says if you say so, Andreas. I still think you're going to get in trouble with Father Thomas. Peter says Yerg. Big Yerg says anyway, I have to get going. Peter says Yerg. Let's go. Big Yerg says Dad's already acting like I'm taking too long even though I did all the work to get that rock out. See you later, Andreas. Player says until later. Big Yerg.
Alright.
Big Yerg.
Is my profile updated? Yes.
Libris.
There you go. Okay, cool. Looks like there's a lot of room actually for more stats to accumulate, so that's fun. I had an old idea for an RPG Maker game actually that was really similar to this.
You say hello to the girls today?
Not in terms of the actual content, but in terms of the idea of like, I had this idea of you start off with no context and then you basically generate the world by answering questions from other characters.
Player says Eva and Clara. Big Yerg says no, I mean the chickens. Peter, James, and John. They like it when you stroke their back or give them a good scratch under the breast. Player says you named your chickens after the apostles? Option 1 of 2 you couldn't think of anything more feminine.
Okay, so it unlocks dialogue options, neat.
Big Yerg says all the pretty girls I know are married, though. Naming a chicken after another man's wife doesn't seem right. But I hear about the apostles every Sunday in Mass. They witnessed Jesus' greatest moments of glory and his darkest trials. And I was thinking, that's how it is with the girls and me. They see everything I deal with around here. Option 1 of 2 that makes perfect sense to me, Big Yerg. You have much in common with Christ. Big Yerg says you are making fun. It's fine.
No, I mean it. I'm gonna make sure everyone is as blasphemous as possible.
I'll just call them the girls from now on. Player says I don't recall your family eating eggs. What do you do with all of them? Big Yerg says oh, we sell them to the Bowers. Clara says we need the extra money for taxes. Anyway, I should get back to it. Until later, Andreas.
Honestly, something I would like to see, instead of just a pure one-note accessibility option, it'd be cool if you could make it so that you assign different text-to-speech stuff, if not for different characters, there might be too many for it to actually work, but maybe just by font, or just like, even just gender, honestly.
Big Yerg. Big Yerg. Big Yerg says hey, Andreas. Peter. Peter says Andreas.
Got nothing?
Bill Peter. Bill Peter says God bless you, Player says Andreas. Bill Peter says oh. Yes, Andreas. This weather's been god awful. This town's gone to shit since my days. Option 1 of 2 I don't think the townsfolk can do much about the weather. Option 2.
I'm
Bill
gonna
Peter says
indulge
as
them.
different as beer and piss. The old abbot didn't bother us much about our customs. He didn't mind if we left a little offering to Prachta to keep the skies clear, the weather fair. Matthias knew that Christ was in our hearts even if the White Lady's name was on our lips.
How do you spell Christ with 2 H's? Come on.
Option 1 of 4. The church banned all observances of pagan gods, ill Peter. Option 2 of 4. What? Option 1 of 4.
Alright, so
the
those,
church banned
the stats I put, not the
observances
stats,
of
but like
pagan
the backgrounds
gods,
I picked,
ill Peter.
are going to give me options. Now I kind of wish, 'cause the book one probably would have actually given the most options. Probably not very exciting ones, but you know. Observance of pagan gods.
Option 2 of 4. What sort of old customs? Option 3 of 4. I thought St. Moritz protected tassing. Option 4 of 4. You think that spirits have been fouling the weather since no one follows the customs anymore? Option 3 of
Old customs sound interesting.
Bill Peter says the kind that scare away witches and keep spirits from calling storm clouds over our farms. The saints weren't the first to watch over tassing. My father knew that. Old Rannig Kemper knew that. That bastard abbot may not like it, but some of us keep the traditions alive. Option 1 of 3. Like the old widow, Odilia.
I just keep asking about the traditions, I guess.
Get up in the night to take a piss, go around the right side of the house, and never go back the same way. That way the witches don't steal your soul. Option 1 of 2 of. How interesting. Ill Peter says cough cough.
He does say cough cough.
Player says I should go. Ill
Oh.
Peter says Alright. God bless you.
It's a shame, a lot of these choices do seem to loop back on each other.
Ill Peter. Peter.
Here, you got anything else?
Ill Peter says God bless you. Peter. Gertner House. Big Yurt. Town Commons. Andres says hello, Andreas. Gertner Farm.
I'm kind of shocked by how bad this runs. Oh, shoot.
Veronica says Martin, please. Can you give me a hand here? Martin says what do you want? I'm keeping an eye on them. Veronica says that looks a lot like standing there and doing nothing. Hetty says Martin. For Christ's sake, help your cousin. Veronica says morning Andreas. Excuse us. One of the fence rails fell and the sheep started hopping it. Option 1 of 3. Is there something I can do to help? Option 3 of 3.
I like this thought cloud
Player
thing.
says should I offer to help? Option 1 of 2 perhaps. Helping others also helps us. It allows us to feel useful and take satisfaction.
Yell at
in
Martin,
our
that
work.
sounds fun. Helping others allows us to feel useful and take satisfaction in work. That sounds lame.
Option 2. Player says wait, that's presumptuous. I'm not close to their family. Option 1 of 3. Is there something I can do to help? Option 3
Yeah,
of
yell
3.
at Martin, hell yeah.
Martin says
This will be remembered.
Asshole. Veronica says Martin. That's enough. And Andreas, leave the discipline to my mother. Hetty says oh, look, there's something going on up at the Steinauer's place. Martin says who's that on the horse? Looks rich. Hetty says I don't know, Martin, but Lucky is giving him an earful. Christ, I haven't seen Lucky that worked up since Peter and Clara's wedding when Yuan pulled his pants down.
I just realized I'm getting a unique experience here where the text-to-speech tells me what those empty spaces say before they get filled in. Yeah, I don't know what the reading experience is meant to be there, actually.
Knocked 2 of my man's teeth out. You don't want to feel the strength behind a stonemason's anger. Martin says, do you think he's a noble? He looks really rich. Hetty says, God damn it, Martin. Stay out of trouble for once. Martin says, what, Aunt Hetty? Veronica says, behave yourself. Don't we have enough to deal with right now? Hetty says, Andreas, if you wouldn't mind moving your skinny little body up the road, we need to get these sheep under control. Player says, of course. See you later. Option 1 of 3, don't work too hard, Martin.
Alright, good looks, how you get out of here.
Help your aunt and your cousin, alright? Option 3 of 3, help your aunt and your cousin.
I feel like the top one is more hedonism core.
Don't work too hard.
Gotta roleplay. Alright, let's go back this way.
Andres says hello, Andres.
Oh, I thought that was talking to the sheep. That's unfortunate.
Player says Andres Schmidt Smithy. It's so much smaller than the one he uses at the Abbey. Andres Schmidt Smithy. It's so much smaller than the one he uses at the Abbey.
This is an interesting style. I kind of wish there was a little bit more background animation. I wish those trees could sway a little bit, but I don't know. This does seem like a game that was made on the budget of, like, maybe a paperclip.
Martin says what? Hetty says hey, Andre, Veronica. Veronica says hello, Andreas.
Huh, weird. So I have, like, a level of control here, but not... Like, you have to stay on the path.
Church and Druckers.
Here's an idea.
Uh-oh.
Drucker house.
Oh no, it's locked.
Claus says morning, Andreas.
Oh, what is that? What is happening? Hold on. Oh, is that 'cause he's a stonemason? That's really cool, actually. That's really neat.
Player says morning, Claus. Another day at the Abbey, another few hours to work.
Wait, do they pronounce it as claws? Oh, ooh.
Claus says good.
Oops, uh-oh, I skipped something.
You still coming by for supper tonight? Marie and Bert would love to see you. You really need to see these new woodcuts I have for an Italian edition of Till Ulen Spiegel.
Wait, Italian edition of what? Can I check that? Hey, I can, hell yeah. Oh, I should get in the habit of doing that, shouldn't I? The titular character of a popular 15th century book, Till is a prankster, continually exposing the vices and hypocrisy of others. He is also quite skilled at tricking people into smelling, touching, or eating his excrement. Oh, and it even changes the underline. Okay, I need to check those more often. I didn't realize that was a prompt to check what that means.
Player says I didn't realize Father Thomas let you print books in Italian.
Yeah, Italian is the language of Satan.
Claus says come on, Andreas, he's not that strict. I know he's just trying to protect people from option 1 of 4 heresy.
Witch mania.
Option 2 of 4 Witch Mania. Option 3 of 4 Adventure Story. Option 4 of 4 Your sloppy type setting.
Witch Mania sounds fun.
Claus says, oh, God, don't say that, Andreas. We're less than a day's ride from Innsbruck.
Now what's Innsbruck? Capital of the Austrian county of Tyrol, and major stop on the Imperial Road connecting Italy and Bavaria. It is the closest major city of Curacao Abbey, and Tassing notably is also the site of witch trials in 1485. I'm learning so much. I just noticed the icon for that is just the thing longer from Futurama.
No need to get people around here all worked up about witches again. Besides, don't talk about witches around Father Thomas. Just a bad idea.
Note to self, bring up witches.
Claus says so. Supper tonight, after Vespers.
After Vespers. I didn't notice that until now, but now I can't not focus on it. Why? What was the choice that led to this? Vespers, monastic hour at dusk. One of the major prayer hours. It is followed by supper. Not to be confused with those minor prayer hours, those lesser ones.
Option 1 of 2, of course.
Of course, thank you.
Claus says great. I'll tell Marie and Bert you're coming. See you then.
Huh. Just the picture. This flat out just looks like Wind Waker art, actually. Like, this just looks like a character that you'd find on Windfall Island or something. Alright, well, I guess I know what they look like. That's a neat system, actually. I like that a lot.
Player says see you later.
I wish I'd known to do it right away.
Clock. Journal. Claus says morning, Andreas.
Man, they all just say morning, Andreas.
Thomas says God bless, Master Mailer. I hope your week is going well. Option 1 of 2 thank you, Father. It's going quite well. I'm just on my way up the hill to get to work.
I'm not gonna say I'm running
says,
late.
Good, good. Andreas, I don't recall seeing you at Sunday morning Mass. You understand how important it is for your salvation that you receive Holy Communion, don't you? Option 1 of 3 yes. I apologize, Father Thomas. Option 3 of 3.
Yeah, this game seems really
I
neat.
just stayed up too late on Saturday. I don't want to get into an argument with him about this. Option 1 of 3 would going to church on Sunday be such a burden? If not for his sake,
Jester guy is just hyper contrarian. The princess looking lady I can kind of vibe with. This guy I don't think I'm ever
Option 2 of 3 a man has many duties.
I don't think I'm ever
Thomas
gonna
should
vibe with this
appreciate
guy.
How hard you work to help the abbey.
Is there more historical fiction games? Pentiment is cool. The bit you've played so far. Yeah, this is definitely not a like. I mean, like, I don't know. It's really hard to like draw the line at what is and isn't, because there's so much stuff that does draw a lot of inspiration from history or just like a medieval aesthetic, but there's not much that directly focuses on it, and there's definitely nothing that looks like this.
Option 3 of 3 this asshole.
Would going to
can't
church
make
on Sunday
you
be
go
such
to
a
mass.
burden? If not, for his sake,
hell with
consider it
him.
for your own. I mean, I don't really...
Option 1 of 3 would. Option
Man
2
has
of 3
many
a man
duties,
has
Father
many
Thomas.
duties.
Appreciate how hard you work to
Father
help the
Thomas
Abbey.
should appreciate how hard you work to help the abbey.
I mean, actually, for once, I think
Option one
I
of-
agree with him.
option
Actually,
2 of 3
just
a
after
man
I
has
say that,
many duties.
so maybe
Father-
I'm never gonna choose
option-
just one
option-
and be done with it.
Option
Maybe
2 of
this is
3
a
man has many duties.
I don't know what
Father
gray
Thomas
would
should
be when there's
appreciate
3
how
different
hard you
potential
work to help
colors,
the
but
abbey. Player says almost everyone in town works hard, though. Option 1 of 3.
The interesting thing
Yes.
about those thoughts is
I
that
apologize,
whenever you pick
Father
one,
Thomas.
the character
I promise you
counters
I'll make
it.
it
It's
this
not
Sunday.
actually a thought to like make yourself agree. It's to like you should always be picking the one that you think could have like a counter argument to. Yes, I apologize. I do. I'm gonna sketch late at night. Yeah, I'm gonna just apologize.
Thomas says you don't have to make a promise to me, but our salvation is contingent on TH. Oh, my. What a blessed day to receive such an illustrious visitor. Master Mailer, this is Lawrence, Baron of Rockvogel, a great lord from the countryside near Worms. Lawrence says good to see you, Father Thomas. It is nice to be remembered fondly. I only wish all of your neighbors were as welcoming. Thomas says well, yes. What brings you back to our little town? Lawrence says my wife and I were returning from a trip to Venice. We spent a few days in Innsbruck and it was terribly dull.
Hey, now I can check what Venice is. One of the most powerful republics in the Italian peninsula. Sitting on the northwest coast of the Adriatic Sea, Venice is a major center of commerce and art in southern Europe.
I mean, it has a certain charm common to these alpine cities, but the place was crawling with nobles for the emperor's diet.
An imperial diet is an assembly of 3 colleges of the imperial estates of the Holy Roman Empire. There we go. Prince electors, the princess and dukes, and representatives of the imperial cities. They meet to deliberate on matters of importance to the empire.